save a sinner's life. Every word is precious, I've seen what it can do. It's an unchanging message, proven, tried and true. Good news never gets old. It still lights a fire deep in my soul. Well, it might have taken place 2,000 years ago, but the good news never gets old. It's an open invitation for every generation. Good news never gets old. It still lights a fire deep in my soul. Well, it might have taken place 2,000 years ago, but the good news never gets old. Oh, never gets old. It's the good news.
Sound Radio's Verse of the Day is brought to you by Truck Stuff USA and Outdoor Power Equipment, located at 14330 Plank Road in Baker, Louisiana. Give them a call, 225-774-9797. Your encouraging verse comes to us from the book of Psalms, chapter 62, verse 7. In God is my salvation and my glory, the rock of my strength, and my refuge is in God. That's your encouraging verse for your day. From Psalm 62, verse 7.
Hey friend, it's Anthony Davis with Tribute Quartet.
This is Chris Jenkins of the Kingsman Quartet.
Hey, this is Keith Irwin from the Irwins.
Hi, we're the Nealons.
Hi, this is Les Butler, preacher and singer with the Old Time Preachers Quartet. Now more than ever, the world needs what this station has to offer, the hope that is in the Lord, found in the music and the message of this station.
Today's Southern Gospel.
Sometimes I wonder who I am, don't have a clue about the plan that I'm a part of. My brain's in constant motion, questions bigger than the ocean. And when that gets started, I'll stop right where I stand. I watch the water rush toward the sand and remind myself who set the whole thing turning. The waves in my heart keep thumping. I think I'm on to something I can't explain. I'm part of my Father's story, wrapped in love and bound for glory. Joy like rain, like sunbeams dancing on the water. I'm my Father's daughter. Sometimes I'm lost inside my head. I question everything that's said about this life I'm living. If I leave all that behind, there's peace and joy that I can find in what I've been given. And I stop right where I stand. I watch the water rush toward the sand and remind myself who set the whole thing turning. The waves in my heart keep thumping. I think I'm on to something I can't explain. I'm part of my Father's story, wrapped in love and bound for glory. Joy like rain, like sunbeams dancing on the water. I'm my Father's daughter. He knows my joys, He knows my pains. I feel Him running through my veins. I feel Him running through.
This is Sound Radio, WPAE 89.7 FM, Centerville, Mississippi, and KPAE 91.5, Irwinville, Louisiana. Today's Southern Gospel.
mornings to a land with never a night. Oh yes, I'm going one of these mornings where the robe of spotless white. One of these mornings I'll be flying high. One of these mornings I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm going one of these mornings to a land with never a night. Oh yes, I'm going one of these mornings where the robe of spotless white. One of these mornings I'll be flying high. One of these mornings I'm gonna say goodbye. Sometimes when I see the sun rising, I am so surprised that I'm still here. I just can't wait to wake up in heaven. And I know that day is very near. 'Cause I'm going one of these mornings to a land with never a night. Oh yes, I'm going one of these mornings where the robe of spotless white. One of these mornings I'll be flying high. One of these mornings I'm gonna say goodbye. Sitting front row at the feet of Jesus, I know I wear a smile that never fades. And as I sing along with saints and angels, my time down here on earth will seem so far away. Yes, I'm going one of these mornings to a land with never a night. Oh yes, I'm going one of these mornings where the robe of spotless white. One of these mornings I'll be flying high. One of these mornings I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm going one of these mornings to a land with never a night. Oh yes, I'm going one of these mornings where the robe of spotless white. One of these mornings I'll be flying high. Yes, I'm going one of these mornings to a land with never a night. Oh yes, I'm going one of these mornings where the robe of spotless white. One of these mornings I'll be flying high. One of these mornings I'm gonna say goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
And good evening and welcome to the New Journey Radio Network and the Artist Takeover. Tonight, our special guest is Haley and Kasey Kemp along with Avenue. And of course, as you can tell, I am not Bobby Richardson. I am Steve Woodham. And we are waiting for Bobby to be able to get the internet into his house. But in the meantime, I am filling some big shoes. But right now, I want to welcome our special guest of the evening. It is Kasey, Haley, and Jonathan Mattingly, all right here, live and in person. Good evening. How are you guys doing?
Good evening.
Hi, how you doing?
Hello.
We're doing great. How are you doing tonight, Steve?
Doing wonderful, doing wonderful. So glad to have you all here with us tonight. And also want to let you know that we've got those that are watching online on the Facebook page. So if you have some questions for them during the night, you can chime in, give us your questions, and we'll be sure and ask them your questions so you can get an answer. This is going to be an all-inclusive kind of a deal tonight involving everybody. So anyway, so we are so glad to have you guys. What are y'all up to today? Now, I know, Jonathan, you and Kasey had an interview earlier today in the Netherlands.
We did. We talked to Miss Yentina. That's right. We talked to her over in the Netherlands, and that was really interesting because they're about 7 hours ahead of us. So it was really funny because she's like, they're just getting ready for dinner, and we just finished lunch. So it was really fun. But we had a good time talking to her.
Yeah, I went back and watched the interview that she did with you guys, and I thought it was a great time. Looks like y'all had a good time with it.
Oh, we had fun.
Absolutely, we did.
Yeah, well, that is great. So, man, you are just about going all the way around the world, although, here in Louisiana, we're just kind of a world unto ourselves. But, I digress. But anyways, so the song we just heard, One of These Mornings, went to number 23 on Singing News, and that is incredible. Tell us about the song.
You know what? Here's what a lot of folks don't realize about that song. That is actually a song that the Perrys recorded on Tracy's last record before he got sick. And at the time, I was unmarried and I was living with Libby and Tracy. I had just moved to town, and they said, hey, you know, till you kind of get your footing and all, we were going to church together, and they said, we've got a place upstairs you can stay. Well, just right after that, they had recorded that album that had One of These Mornings on it, and then Tracy had his brain bleeds and his stroke, and they asked me if I would just stay and try to help take care of Tracy. And so it was an honor to get to do that. I was there for 2 years before Haley and I got married. And so, you know, all these years later, when Avenue went to record, we wanted to do One of These Mornings. And so I asked Libby if that would be okay. And she said, hey, we never did anything with it. We recorded it. Tracy got sick. The whole album really just kind of got sort of forgotten about. And she said, we're never going to send it to radio, so please go ahead and go for it. So we recorded it and really didn't even have any plans to send it to radio, but folks seemed to like it so well, we decided to send it out as our first single as Avenue, and it did. We were blessed. It went to number 23 on the charts, our very first single.
Yeah.
And so we were very, very, and still are very grateful for that, and we still sing it just about every night.
Wow, that is awesome. So how long had it been out before it made it to number 23? Was it just kind of like a rapid ascent all the way up the charts?
I think it was out maybe 3 months. It didn't take long for it to come up. It debuted in the 60s, and then the next month it hit somewhere in the 30s. And we thought, well, you know, maybe it's done. but then the next month it went to number 23. And I think it's been a week in the Singing News Top 10. You know how they do.
Right.
So, yeah, it was really surprising to us, but we were very grateful because it opened up some more doors of opportunity. And you know, we're just ever grateful for that.
Yeah. Now, I know you are in looking and in talking with you a little bit yesterday, I know that there's actually two, let's see if I can put this right, two entities, yet it's not really two entities. It's actually one split in two. In that, yeah, okay, so physics was not my strong suit in school. So I think we can pretty much understand that, well, Steve didn't make it through his psychology class. Anyway, so, you know, it's you guys are separate, yet you're one, meaning that you've got your ministry, yours and Haley's, where you go out and preach and sing, and then you have Avenue. Explain the difference, how the two have become one, and how they work back and forth.
Sure. You know, when we started Avenue, we never meant for it to be a full-time thing. We've all done that. And we just didn't feel like with families and those sort of things that we needed to do that. And we wanted to be still involved in our church. And so Avenue cut back to just a couple of times a month. And then Haley and I, we do revivals and things. So we decided that we would go out once a month that way. And I'm going to kind of shift over here for just a second with Haley, because Haley is not only a great singer, but a songwriter. And so we recorded a record that has some of her songs on it for she and I to do. And we go out and we do revivals. We sing together, and I play my trumpet a little bit and do some preaching. And then, of course, a separate entity then is Avenue. And so we'll pull John on here in just a second. He can tell a little bit because he kind of does double duty too. And I'll let him explain that here in just a minute.
Okay.
But Haley and I, we enjoy getting to go out together. And Haley is a great songwriter and a great singer. And
now the fact that she's your wife doesn't mean you're a little biased, does it?
Ask her.
I don't want to get you in the doghouse. I mean, you know, after all, you know, long weekend coming up. So, yeah, I mean,
I would say he's very too kind on that.
Oh no!
Wow. No. Well, trust me. I would say he's pretty spot on there. I've listened to your songs and I've listened to what you've written, and yeah, Haley, I would say he's pretty spot on in his assessment.
Well, I appreciate that.
You can send your check to me later, but that's okay.
I will. Let me know how much to charge.
Oh boy, probably neither one of us can afford it. But
Right.
anyway, so Haley, tell me about your part in all of this. Other than being the writer, you're the glue that holds all of it together.
I'm the one who remembers everything.
Atta girl. Boy, now if that's not taking a pot shot at somebody, I mean, would that be
whether it's wallet, phone, keys, dress shoes, cufflinks, dress shirts, belt.
Well, we thank you for remembering those. You
You're very welcome.
how in Emperor's New Clothes is not something that you guys probably want to do.
No.
But yeah.
Hey, let me tell you what my wife's superpower is. Not only is she a great singer and a great songwriter, but her superpower is going to any store and finding some really cool looking clothes for super cheap. She is fantastic at the sales. I'm telling you, it is her superpower. And so she keeps me dressed right and looking nice. And of course, she always looks beautiful and classy. So.
Well, wow. What a great follow-up to that statement.
He's out of the doghouse.
Yeah. I would say you're out of that doghouse right now. But then again, the evening is still young, and we haven't made it all the way to to the top of the hour yet. So, anyways,
Right.
Jonathan's over there scratching his head, I'm sure, going, "Am I going to be part of this conversation? What's going on here?" So, or Jonathan's probably just sitting here going, "I don't want any part of this. Just let me out of this. I'm good." Anyway, so Jonathan, tell us about the part you're playing in all of this. Obviously Casey's telling us you do double duty. I'm not sure if that's like keeping those two separated during those, wonderful husband-wife moments, or
No, not quite that. When I first moved to Tennessee about almost 4 years ago now, I joined a group, the Blackwood Brothers Quartet. Well, in the past 6-8 months, they've decided that they want to scale back their schedule in 2021 and moving forward. So I talked to Billy, and he and Casey asked if I wanted to sing with his group. So I was like, well, that might be perfect. And so we talked to each other, Billy and me and Casey. We all talked together, and we figured out how to make both schedules work to where I could do the dates that the Blackwood Brothers do in the future. But in addition to that, I'm going to be able to sing with Casey and Avenue. So that's my double duty that I'm doing.
Wow. So I was fixed to say you don't get on stage with Avenue and start singing somebody else's music and go, "Oops, sorry, wrong concert." I could see that happening. Kind of like okay, we're having a real spiritual moment here. You guys anyways. Okay, so somebody has chimed in and asked a question, and then we're going to cover this here in just a little bit later, but they're wanting to know, when are you guys coming to Michigan? Danny's wanting to know that.
Yeah, Danny Daniels is our buddy, and Danny's got a great group. He and his wife and their daughter, Matchless Grace, and Danny is a fine writer as well. I see where he said Haley's a fine writer. Well, he is as well. But Danny, we're coming to Michigan actually in May. We're going to be at the Gospel Barn it's Mother's Day weekend. I can't remember the exact date. It's whatever that Saturday is before Mother's Day. But we'll be there that night. And aside from that, I'm not sure. But I know that's the next time we're coming to Michigan. Okay.
Well, there you go. Danny, hopefully that'll get them committed to somewhat of getting up there sometime in May. So he says awesome. So that's a good thing. So I think you checked all the boxes. So speaking of Mother's Day, now you guys recorded a song that obviously you didn't release for radio, but it's one that's very popular. But you've got a very special singer at the end of this song that I don't think a lot of people know about.
Yeah.
You want to tell the story behind that before we play it?
Sure. Haley sings that song, King of the World.
Yeah, that we did send that to radio, but the Abby, our daughter, Aveline, she got they had to shorten it for radio purposes, so they had to cut her out. But
on the radio release.
On the radio release.
Yeah.
But it is on the CD, and that is literally one of her favorite songs. And she was 3 at the time that we recorded it, and I really wanted to have that moment with her. And so she did it and did it well, and I'm so thankful that we got that as young as she was.
Yeah, she'll treasure that for years and years to come. You can play it at her wedding.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
Let's not go there.
Oh, yeah. I treasure these moments. They grow up in a hurry.
We were actually just talking at supper a few minutes ago before you called that Abby just last night came to me and said, Daddy, I think I want to be married.
And you said, yep, nope, not gonna do it.
Nope,
not
happening.
You're not one of those shotgun dads where you sit on the front porch and go, boy, are you here to see my daughter? Yeah.
Not yet, but I think that day is coming.
Yeah, it probably
I'm
is.
sure you'll be one of those that holds the Bible and says, let me open some scripture up here and let's talk.
It's like, boy, you better pray through.
Right.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Okay, so since I control the controls, I'm going to play the song because I think everybody needs to hear her at the end of the song. And it is just so precious. So we're going to play. This is King of the World with special guest. What do you call her now?
Her name is Aveline, but we call her Abby.
Okay. So Aveline, special guest at the end of the song. You are all just in for a phenomenal, phenomenal treat. Here they are, King of the World with Aveline.
I try to fit you in the walls inside my mind. I try to keep you safely in between the lines. I try to put you in a box that I designed. I try to pull you down so we are eye to eye. When did I forget that you've always been the king of the world? I try to take life back right out of the hands of the king of the world. How could I make you so small when you're the one who holds it all? When did I forget that you've always been the king of the world? Just a whisper of your voice can tame the seas. So who am I to try to take the lead? Still I run ahead and think I'm strong enough. And you're the one who made me from the dust. When did I forget that you've always forget that you've always been the king of the world. Lord, you'll always be the king of the world. When did I forget that you've always been the king of the world? I try to take life back right out of the hands of the king of the world. How could I make you so small when you're the one who holds it all? When did I forget that you've always been the king of the world?
It is the Artist Takeover with our special guest, the Kemps, and also Avenue, and a new star. That's right. You heard it right here on the radio, on the New Journey Radio Network. We have a new star is born. Aveline. Man, so when is she cutting her project?
Well, if it was up to her, probably tomorrow she'd start. You know what? Yentina asked me something here in the. She said, "Can you share that story?" I told this earlier today when John and I were on with her. It was a couple weeks ago, I guess. Haley, you and I were singing, and Abby wanted to come up on the stage, and it's actually online. I think I posted it. So we gave her a microphone, but I had forgot to unmute the microphone and turn it on. Well, she was just singing away with us up there and realized that the mic wasn't on and leaned up to me and said, "Daddy, my mic's off," and grabbed my hand and pulled my mic down to her mouth because she knew my mic was on.
Oh, yeah. So, just call it Avenue plus one.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow. Well, the Bible does say train up a child in the way in which they should go. And in this case, train them up on how to grab the microphone from daddy.
That's right. That's right.
Pretty good story. I mean,
yeah. And I'm going to tell you what, I'll let John tell this, but their son, Asher, is 3, and he knows every.
He knows every word of Avenue songs, every word of Blackwood Brothers songs, every word of Kasey and Haley's CD songs. We'll be going down the road and we'll start, listening to music, and he'll just chime right in and sing to the top of his lungs. It's awesome to see kids follow their parents and the music they love.
So now we're talking Avenue plus 2.
That's about that. That'll be. Hey, I'm not complaining.
Wow, yeah. That is great. So, Jonathan, when you're not spending time with Avenue and you're not spending time doing everything else, what do you spend time doing?
Oh man.
Or do you have any time?
Mostly I spend time with my wife Sarah and my son Asher. I try to spend as much time with them as I can when I'm home. That's when I'm gone. I miss them dearly. So when I'm home, I try to spend as much time as I can possibly spend with them.
Yeah. So how many weeks a year are you on the road?
With the Blackwood Brothers, I was out 150, 160 days a year total. We sang about 130 times a year. With Avenue, we're looking to be gone probably close to around that. I mean, probably me with the Blackwood Brothers and Avenue, maybe around the same amount of time being gone. So roughly half the year.
Wow. So you're getting a lot of frequent flyer road trips.
If we flew where we went, but most of it we drive. So that's no fun, but.
So do they do they give you a punch card or something after so many miles? You get a free $1. You get a free $1 meal from McDonald's.
Man, I wish. That'd be great.
Well, there you go. We can we'll add that in. We'll add that into the campaign. Yeah, that's it. I'm telling you. Yeah, you get my vote. I'm all for that. So let's talk about Kasey. Let's talk about you and Haley. How in the world did you meet? I mean, how did you get so lucky?
This is quite the funny story. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible, but I
keep it rated PG-13. We are a family.
Well, yeah. So I had moved to Nashville to work with a record label here, and then I was also singing with a group, and we were doing a television show here in Nashville. And Haley also sings with her aunt and uncle. We're just all stretched in all kinds of different ways here. But Haley was singing with her aunt and uncle, the Angela Lily Trio, and she still does do that some. But that particular day, we were both on set. Both of our groups were on the TV show that day. And I saw her sitting across the room, and I thought that she was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen, and I'll tell you why. A couple reasons.
Well, let's hope there's a couple of reasons.
Yeah, there's several reasons, but I'm just going to give you the few off the top that were first that entered my mind. First of all, she was dressed like a lady. She was classy. She carried herself classy like a Christian woman should, and I loved her curly hair. I thought it was beautiful. And I just loved the way that she carried herself and the way she was dressed. Now, here's the funny part. I wanted to go talk to her, but for some reason, I don't know. Somebody told me that she was married, and I thought she was already married, so I didn't go talk to her. But I went over to their group as a whole and tried to talk to them, and she wouldn't even look at me. and I'm going to let her tell you why.
Oh, my.
Okay, inquiring minds want to know, Haley. Let's have the 411 here.
Well, the thing of it was he failed to mention I did not want to be there that day. And if you know, I mean, if you get to know me at all, I do not like camera pictures, radio interviews.
Oh my goodness, boy! I felt that shot come all the way from Tennessee.
Felt that, yeah.
My
I knew you
goodness,
would feel that fiery dart.
That's okay. I still have to love you to get to heaven.
Yeah,
so you know.
That's right. No, it's just it wouldn't probably be my forte or cup of tea. It's just not for me. I don't do probably very well with it, but I didn't want to be there that day. I was so nervous, and he talked to my uncle that day, but no, we did not talk. And I had made up my mind, I did not want a singer. I mean, I did not want somebody who sang. I kind of got the impression that he probably was a fake.
Oh my goodness.
Naughty.
And if anybody knows him, he is the complete opposite of that. But I just, I made a judgment call, and I shouldn't have done that, but I had been around and I knew a lot and had heard a lot, and I just wanted somebody who was real. And so I just thought I have no interest in this. I do what I do, and I have no interest. And we happened to, funny. And we happened to sing together in actually where my aunt and uncle are from. And I got to talking to him at that particular concert, and I was like, wow, he seems like a really nice guy, and he's not bad looking either. And so we did not exchange numbers. We just sometimes here and there would message on Facebook, and then one time he asked me for my number, and I was like, sure, here it is.
Wow.
And that's the rest is history.
Yeah.
A marriage and 2 kids later. And
I surprised her, Steve. Their family was going to be doing an Easter concert, and so or Good Friday really. And I drove up and surprised her. And before their concert in the little town that they're based out of in Hudsonville, Illinois, there's a little coffee shop there. And I took her up there for lunch, and when it was time to pay, I said, 1 ticket, I'll get it. And she said, well, I can't let you do that. It would be like a date. And I said, well, then I guess it's a date then. And
nice to know you're a big spender. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So Haley, what do you think of him now?
Oh, you don't have enough time.
Yeah, we are halfway. Wow, we are halfway through this thing.
Right.
So yeah,
I mean, he is a wonderful husband to me and a wonderful dad to our children. He loves them, oh my, more than life itself. And the spiritual leader that I prayed for and have always wanted. And he's given me confidence to do things that I did not think that I could ever do. And that's the beauty about having a spouse that, we have great communication and we're cheerleaders for one another, and we lift each other up, and we pray together and read the word together, and it makes all the difference. It's what I've wanted my whole life.
Yeah, it's amazing when you have the right partner, when God brings two people together. It's amazing what all can happen, how, my weakness with mine and my wife, my weakness may be her strength. And her weakness may be my strength. And the two of us together literally do make one. So,
absolutely.
In a marriage setting, that's just so God.
Yep, it's what he ordained. I mean, it really is.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm very blessed.
Yeah. So I want us to do something here because, Kasey, I don't know that maybe a lot of people know that you played the trumpet.
Okay.
Do you? Oh, yeah, I just caught you off guard, didn't I?
Yeah, well.
So for those of you that are listening and those of you that are watching and you're wondering, is this scripted? Nope, this is totally off the cuff. I told them before we went on the air tonight, I said, I have no idea what we're going to do and what's going to happen. We're just going to go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I started playing trumpet in 5th grade. And so, I didn't play for a little while, and I picked it back up, and everybody said, well, we'd love to hear some trumpet playing. So whether it's Haley and I going out together or if it's Avenue, I try to sneak a trumpet song in there here and there.
Yeah. So have you ever been out on the street witnessing and you're hiding around the corner and Haley's witnessing to somebody and saying, the next sound we hear could be the trumpet of God, and all of a sudden you start blaring out the trumpet?
You know what? You just gave us a great idea.
There you go. There you go. That's right. You heard it here first, folks, on the New Journey Radio Network. Great new witnessing tool. So if you want to go out and witness in the middle of your city, just call the Kemps and call Kasey and tell him to bring his trumpet, and he'll hide around the corner. You witness and say, you better give your heart to the Lord, or the next sound you may hear may be a trumpet, and he'll be warming up in the background. So I'm telling you. Yeah, talk about a revival.
Wow.
Yeah.
You may have a lot of people falling out of the church coming down there to get resaved, but we're not going to go there. Uh-oh. Jonathan's going, okay, we're in trouble now.
There.
Right about now, Facebook cuts us off. No, I'm kidding. So anyways, okay, so you play trumpet. You've been playing since 5th grade. You and I have a kindred spirit because I started playing trumpet, believe it or not, at 5th grade. I had a really beautiful Bach Stradivarius.
That's what I have.
Oh, there you go. See, you're a man after my own heart. But I haven't played in years. If I were to play my trumpet right now, I'd have a lip so big, it'd just be, you'd think I had Botox to death.
Oh my.
So, anyways, but you recorded a song, and it's an old gospel song of the church. You want to give a little background about how did you choose this, or what? How did this come about by doing this on the trumpet?
When I started playing, that was one of the first songs that I learned and did play in church when I was in 5th or 6th grade, and I just thought it'd be fun to do. And I've got a whole record done now, but the cut that you guys have that I sent you is actually me and Josh Singletary of Tribute. We went in the studio and started playing this just to kind of see how it would go, and I just thought it was fun to send to you guys. And so the cut that you've got, it's just a closer walk with me, and we jazzed it up a little bit and just had some fun with it. So I appreciated Josh playing the piano and playing along with me.
Well, here you go. Here is Josh Singletary and Kasey Kemp as he showcases his talent on the trumpet with Just a Closer Walk with Dee, right here on the New Journey Radio Network. New Journey Radio Network and the Artist Takeover tonight. It's the Kemps, Kasey and Haley Kemp, along with Avenue. Jonathan Mattingly is with them as well. So we're just having fun tonight, and what you guys don't hear when we're not on the air, which is probably a good thing. not saying anything, but let's never mind. But yeah, so, we're finding out some things that, while they're on the air, Jonathan's wife is being a hero. I understand she is keeping all of the kids corralled and downstairs so that they're not running up there and nobody's grabbing the phone so they can talk on the air. So yeah, definitely want to give a shout out. So Jonathan, how did you meet your wife?
My wife and I, my wife's name is Sarah. We met in 2008. Her parents run a youth camp in Folsom, Louisiana. And I used to sing with my family before I joined the Blackwood Brothers. And so we were traveling through there, and we had some mutual friends. And our friends told us that if you ever get to Folsom, Louisiana, you got to go to Camp Glenwood. You have to meet the Megs. You would love the Megs. And so we were on our way through there, and my dad called Brother Ray and said, "Hey, we're coming through your area. Is it possible for us to come park our bus at the camp? And we're going to be singing in the area for a couple of weeks. Is it okay if we come park our bus there?" And Brother Ray said, "Come on, stay as long as you like." And that's the first time I met Sarah. We were friends for actually about 6 years before we actually got together. So we built a friendship before we got together, and since then we got married in 2014. So we've been married a little over 7 years now. January was 7 years, and we have one son, Asher. So we're that's how we met, and so
and life is good.
And life is great. Life is great.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. So, do all of your families travel with all of you when you go, or do they stay at home, or is it a family affair, or is it just the three of you when you go on the road?
Well, all of it is. I guess it's probably all different every time.
Gotcha.
Eventually it'd be great if one day if everybody's families could pile in and go. But we're just taking all this a step at a time, and we'll let the Lord work all that stuff out. But but right now, when Haley and I go out, if we know folks at the church, or if we have a family member that we can take with us to help us with the kids, we will do that. But if not, we've got great grandparents on both sides of the family that are willing to help us with our kids. And shout out to Haley's family, who have been really great to keep them. And my folks have actually come down here a time or two and stayed at our house with them while we've been gone. Now, Jonathan, when we go out with Avenue and stuff, normally it's just the group when we go out. But, who knows, one day maybe the Lord will allow us to just everybody pile in and go. So but right now it's a free for all.
Special ages too.
Yeah.
So
they're all little, so they don't like to sit.
That's true. Abby is 4, and then Jonathan mentioned that Asher is 3. He'll be 4 soon. Yeah. And then Haley and I's littlest one, Autry, he's 2. And I like to tell people that, Abby, she would probably sit on the front row and smile while we were singing, or she would get up there and get a microphone and sing along. If Autry were with us, if Autry were with us, he would be swinging from the chandelier.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Well, in some churches, depending on the denomination, we're kind of known for doing that. So, he'd fit right in.
That's right.
Then that way you could just kind of look up the chandelier, see him swinging back and go, see, the Spirit is moving. That is the winds. Okay.
You know what? Autry might be our Mississippi squirrel.
That's it. Hey, there you go. I like that. There's your Mississippi squirrel.
Oh my!
Oh wow! Yeah, you might want to destroy this tape when he gets older. He may look up one day and say, "Dad, you remember when you told me I was going to be the Mississippi squirrel? Well, I'm just fulfilling my destiny."
Watch it.
Yeah, watch and see what I can do. Wow. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm a good influence or a bad influence. I guess still out on that one. But anyways, I digress. Let's talk about COVID and how you guys and your ministry, how has it been affected? I've been asking all of the artists when I talk with them, because right now everything is, COVID is still on the forefront. And I know a lot of artists have, spent a lot of time and behind closed doors, and they haven't been out like they have wanted to, although they're just now starting to get back out. But how has it affected you and your ministry, and how you are able to get out and minister?
You know what? This is probably a two-part thing. I'm going to let Jonathan, because Jonathan has just started, with Avenue a few months back, but all last year and coming into that before COVID, he's been with the Blackwood Brothers. And so I'm going to let Jonathan answer for him concerning his schedule with the Blackwoods, and then Haley and I can share a quick word of testimony about that too.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, it was last year was an interesting year for everybody. But for me, it was really crazy because when we sang our last concert before COVID hit on March the 8th, the Blackwood Brothers did in Fort Myers, Florida, big church, packed out church. And the next week, everything completely shut down. And so from then on, for the next 4 months, we didn't sing at all. We didn't sing until July. And so from early March to the end of the year, I think maybe we sung maybe 10 times for the rest of the year total. The Blackwood Brothers did. So that was really hard because I've grown up singing, And so it's something I've done literally my whole life. So to not be able to do that was really hard, but the Lord provided for us in a lot of other different ways, in jobs that He opened up for me to do, to where I could work around home, that were flexible with me. So whenever something did come up where we were singing, I could go, but when I came back, I would still have would be able to supply for my family. So that God really showed Himself strong last year for us. But it definitely affected the singing side for sure. Cause like I said, we didn't sing about 10 times for the whole year after March.
Yeah.
So that was rough for us, but God took care of us.
Man.
Yeah.
Yep. And then for Haley and I remember when it happened, she and I were packing up to go to Maryland, wasn't it, Haley? We had a couple of dates up there, and probably, I don't think it was maybe even 3 days, was it, beforehand?
Yeah.
That they called and said, our district superintendent says we're going to have to close. And so that was the beginning of the phone ringing off the hook for the next few weeks of people canceling. But Haley has said it time and time again. She said, I've never, to this point in my life, have seen the hand of God like I have. We literally were so blessed by people that wanted to invest in our ministry and help us continue. And the same with John, opening up other avenues to provide for our families. We never missed a meal. We never missed as a matter of fact, we were able to even pay some things off and ended up, and I say this to praise the Lord for it, we ended up paying things off. Not that we have a lot of debt, but we were able to pay some things off and even put some money in the bank that maybe we wouldn't have had before.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that's just God.
Yeah.
I'm totally bragging on Him saying that, because we don't have a lot, and that's okay. We're not here to try to strive for those things, but the Lord knows that we have to live, and He took care of us in ways that we'd be here for 2 or 3 days trying to tell it all. And John and Sarah would come over for dinner, or we'd go over there for dinner, and we would just sit and talk about the goodness of the Lord and how His hand has been on us and taking care of us through these times. And now we're so blessed because Haley and I's ministry, and then Avenue, and then the dates that John is going out with the Blackwood brothers, everything is really beginning to pick back up. And so we're all busy with the various ministries that we're involved in, and God is just so good. And through it, we've been able to share Jesus with other people and encourage people of what God has done for us and what He'll do for you, because He's no respecter of persons.
Right.
And so we're thankful that we've been able to encourage others along the way, sharing our story. And so God has been very, very good to us.
Yeah. God is faithful.
Yes, He is.
That is an absolute truth, and no matter what, God is still faithful. And
yes,
my wife and I were the same situation of sorts, but it's like I tell everybody my 2 favorite words: but God.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so
He's all you have. He's all you need.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. So
that was all we had.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there, done that for sure, on more than one occasion. So we are rapidly running out of time, but I want us to talk about your new project that's coming up. That you are releasing here April the 16th. Tell us about the new project, and then as we close out the program, I want us to play, because I think the song is very appropriate. They Could Not, which is on the new project, correct?
It is.
Okay.
Yes,
so
it is.
We're going to play that song as we go out, but I want you to tell us about the new project and what God is doing in this project, and give everybody something to look forward to.
Well, we just found out, I'll tell you this, Steve, I told you yesterday that the release date is April the 16th, but the record company actually called me late last night and they needed to bump it so it's actually going to be April the 23rd now. And I just got that information, but we are very, very excited about the recording. We recorded it, John, over Christmas?
Yeah,
I guess over Christmas break. Right before Christmas. And Haley has 3 songs, actually, that she wrote on the recording, and I'm going to briefly tell you about those. The title of the record is called Here We Are, and that song was written by Haley and Joel Lindsay. And the reason we wanted to get that type of song on there is because we wanted to be able to, from the stage, say to folks, look, here we are tonight to worship the Lord together. But one day, those of us that are bought by the blood will stand before him, and we'll be able to say, here we are. We've made it by grace. We've made it. And so it's a great song, great title for the record. Haley wrote another song on there that we are very excited about called Be the Change, and there'll be more information coming soon, hopefully in the next few weeks about that, but it touches on the issue of abortion. Obviously, we're pro-life because we believe that's what the Lord would have us to stand for, and so it really calls us as God's people to be the hands and feet of Christ, and to be the body of Christ, and to reach out and to love and help others like we're supposed to. So it's a great song, and Jeff Bumgardner and Haley wrote that, and we've got a special tour coming together for that we'll have to talk about another time, but we're very excited about that. And then, John, we also recorded I Will Follow Christ on there, which is our current single right now.
Yeah, which is I feel like it's a very, very timely song with the way things are in the world and in our country. That no matter what comes as Christians, we should follow Christ.
Absolutely.
So that's the title of the song is I Will Follow Christ, and it's a great song about just staying the course and following Christ with all your heart.
Absolutely. And then that brings us to They Could Not. It's an old Sandy Patty song that has been redone for a male trio. John actually sings the lead on this song, and it's a great song. And as you mentioned, Steve, we're coming up into Good Friday tomorrow, headed into Easter time. This song is a quick account of the life of Christ. It goes from him as a carpenter to him as a teacher, all the way up to the crucifixion. And the people in the day thought that they could hold him in the grave, but they realized they could not, because we know that Jesus is alive and he's coming again. So if there's anything that we could encourage and say to folks today, it's, look, the cross is empty, the tomb is empty, Jesus is alive, he's coming again, and they could not hold him in the grave. And so that's why this song is so, so very important, because it's the basis of everything that we know to be true and that we believe, and that is Jesus is alive, and because he lives, we can live.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, because I know you preach, and my father was a pastor, and I'm going to ask you to do the impossible. Sum up, give us an Easter message in less than 60 seconds.
Less than 60 seconds. All right. Whoa. Well, here it is.
Time him, Haley.
All right. Well, you know what? It starts in the manger. He was born there. We're thankful that we know he was born of a virgin. That's what the Bible teaches us. That we can read all the account of Christ as a child. I love when he was in the temple, and the Bible says that Mary and Joseph, after the Passover, they were headed back home. They were on a 3-day journey, realized that they had left him behind. They turned around and they went back, which I think is a whole sermon in itself. Went back and they found Jesus right where they left him, which is what folks can do today. So he grew from that point on to into his ministry, and all the way leading up to the cross. The Bible tells us he was sinless. He went to the cross. He was nailed there. He said, Father, it is finished. And as I mentioned a moment ago, we know today, the Word of God tells us that the tomb is empty and the cross is empty. Jesus is alive and coming again. He shed his precious blood that we might be saved. And if anybody under the sound of our voice is listening out there and you don't know him, let us tell you that Jesus loves you. He died for you. He's still in the saving business, and he is coming again.
Amen. Amen. That was a little bit longer than 60 seconds, but it was still a good word, evangelistically speaking. All right, we got to wrap this thing up. Haley, Kasey, Jonathan, you guys are so great. Thank you so much for spending the hour with us and sharing with us about everything that's going on with Avenue and Kasey and Haley, everything that's going on with you guys. We just thank you so much and just pray God's richest blessings upon you as God just continues to grow your ministry. And we're going to close out the program tonight with a song from their newest, or the project that's coming out the 23rd of April. That's just a great song with a great message. Here is Avenue with They Could Not.
About a father's plan. They heard, but could they really understand? So finally, upon a rugged cross, they killed the man who would not suffer loss. And when at last they took what willingly he gave, he died, but could they keep him in the grave? They could not, they could not, though they tried, they could not.
He was just a simple carpenter with healing in his hands.
And when at last they took from him what willingly